His cheek stung before he even understood what had happened. A hand, sharp, uninvited, had struck the left side of his face. Passengers turned. Silence flooded the cabin. Row 14, seat C, held an old man too stunned to move, his head slightly tilted, not from the force of the slap, but from the disbelief of it. His fingers trembled just above the armrest, where they had been resting peacefully only seconds ago. He didn't speak, didn't rise, didn't fight back. He just looked up, eyes cloudy with age, but not weakness, at the young flight attendant who now stood rigid, her breathing uneven, her expression twisting into panic as she realized something wasn't right. A badge had slipped from the man's coat pocket when he shifted. A small, silver pin, worn, faded, shaped like a pair of wings. It rested quietly against the navy blue fabric of his jacket. No one knew his name yet, but every eye was now on him. He had boarded the plane without fuss, needing no assistance, but moving slowly, respectfully, as if every step meant something. He wore a pressed coat with military buttons. His right hand bore a scar that traced from wrist to knuckle, and his shoes, though polished, carried the quiet weight of muddy ground far from home. The woman had snapped at him earlier for not fastening his seatbelt fast enough. She had rolled her eyes when he'd asked her to repeat something. And now, because she thought he'd reached for her tray too suddenly, she had raised her hand and struck him. No one stopped her. No one stood up. Not yet. His name was Arthur Cole. 91 years old. U.S. Army, retired. Korean War veteran. Father of two. He had lost his youngest boy to a roadside bomb in Afghanistan. His wife passed 2 winters later. His eldest son, Captain David Cole, now flew commercial jets. Quietly, proudly, just like his father once served. Without fanfare, Arthur didn't need sympathy. He never asked for it. His medals were boxed in a drawer. His photo album sat unopened. Since 2009. The only reason he'd booked this flight today was to meet his grandson, who had just earned his Navy uniform. He hadn't said a word about his past. He never did. That was his power, but the slap had revealed something deeper. There was a hush now, thick, uncomfortable. The passengers were watching, but no one moved. The flight attendant's voice broke the silence. I didn't mean to, she stammered. Arthur still didn't speak. Instead, he slowly pulled the badge from his coat pocket, brushing it off, letting it catch the light. His hand closed around it, not in anger, but in memory. 2 rows behind, a little girl whispered to her mother, "Why did she hit the soldier?" The mother said nothing, but her eyes dropped. From the cockpit, a voice crackled over the intercom. Calm, clear. "This is your captain speaking. Ladies and gentlemen, I need a moment before we begin taxiing." The silence deepened. Then, footsteps, slow, steady, approaching from the front of the plane. The cockpit door opened. Captain David Cole stepped out, tall, composed, in full uniform. His eyes scanned the aisle, then stopped when they landed on the man in seat 14C. "Dad?" The word barely made it out. The entire cabin exhaled. The flight attendant turned pale. David didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. He simply walked toward his father, gently placing a hand on his shoulder, then turned to face the passengers. "This man," he said softly, "has never asked for anything in his life. Not recognition. Not thanks. Certainly, not this." The stillness in the plane grew heavy. Not with fear, but with shame. "I can't speak for everyone," he added, "but I will speak for this flight. We honor this man, and I won't move this plane an inch until he is respected." No one clapped. They didn't need to point one by one. Passengers rose from their seats. A few placed hands over their hearts. Some nodded silently. An elderly woman in row 6 offered Arthur a tissue. A businessman quietly switched seats with someone to sit beside him. Even the little girl brought him a pack of peanuts with both hands shaking. The flight attendant, eyes welling with regret, knelt down and whispered something only Arthur heard. He didn't nod, but his expression softened. Somewhere in the clouds, far from the battlefield, justice had landed. You don't need to raise your voice to raise the world's respect. Honor is loudest when it says nothing. True heroes never demand attention, only dignity. If this story moved you, tell us where you're watching from. Have you ever met a silent hero like Arthur Cole? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you believe respect still matters, subscribe for more stories like this one.